stream in the middle of the day, but I got like a little break. So I was looking at my news feeds and just catching up on some things. And, I feel like there is an irony to pride and arrogance. And, it, it, it becomes ironic to me that the people who have operated with high pride and arrogance, now they're sort of victimized by the results of their pride and their arrogance. So I'm looking at, different media outlets, the liberal media outlets, and these people are really perplexed about a few things. It's not just the fact that Donald Trump was elected to be the president of the United States for the second time. It's not that. It's not just that. It's also because they are seeing their information machine collapse, and they're doing everything in their power to sort of preserve the residuals of it. And when you start seeing organizations and media companies starting to regroup, reorganize, selling off things, you realize that they are betting against the machine that they have created at that point. And I think this is the reality that a lot of media people are coming to. And I think it's just very interesting because you have all of these sort of left leaning media establishment people getting on the mic, and they're sort of acting like victims, that people don't want to believe in their media outlets anymore, that people don't want to believe their pundits and all the people that they've propped. They're really victimizing themselves in a reality that they created, right? And so, for the Trump thing, I think that some of these people are in self preservation mode. They understand that if you can't beat them, join them, and they have to make adjustments to the way that they communicate about Donald Trump, about a great many of things, in order for them to remotely get the credibility, or at least a fraction of the credibility that they've had in the past. So, Morning Joe, him and Mika, last week made news because they went to Mar-a-Lago, right, to sort of get on their knee pads and make a truce with President Donald Trump, someone whom they had no problem hanging out with before he became a presidential hopeful. There have been several stories recently about how Joe and Mika had no problem with Trump prior to him running for president. But it's just revealing how people are paid to turn on other people, narrate other people that they were cool with. But that's how the swamp works. Nobody's really loyal over there. But Joe and Mika were smart. They're like, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. Our network is failing. Over half of the country voted for this guy. They didn't buy into all of our fear mongering and fervor about this and that. So we have lost our influence. We have lost our way, right? So that's why they're really scrambling, right? When you lose the influence of your audience, then you're no good to the machine. And these people know that. You are no good to the machine if you don't wield some kind of influence on people that actually can make things happen, like influencing election outcomes with your opinions, right? So now you got these folks on the mic. First, you got Whoopi Goldberg, and she's making concessions. And what are you saying, Whoopi?
I understand all the things that he promised he would be and he wasn't. And now that he has been given carte blanche, I'm not going to waste a lot of time on what he might do.
But at the same
I'm gonna wait because I need to see what he will.
Because they've wasted a lot of time making assumptions, making asses of themselves, talking about what might be, could be, would be, and none of that stuff really panned out. Matter of fact, many of them were proven to be liars. And sorry, I know I'm coming down with a little cold. How are you, Top World Videos? But off of that, these people have earned the title of mistrust that they've given. The agents, the people who sling around misinformation like racism and anti Semitism, these people have been the chief perpetrators of misinforming the public. And now they're pissed that the public don't trust them and that the public is deviating to independent media outlets and other people who can read between the lines objectively without slinging their opinions and their bias all over a news story or a so called news story. So here we have, and this is the Hill covering Morning Joe. They are,
You know what's in your
and
cheap
I'm
protein?
sure many of you probably saw this. This guy, I forgot the gentleman's name. He'll probably say it in a story. The guy from Maxios. You know, the liberal media is just standing ovation, tears in your eyes, because the guy from Axios goes on a rant, a lament about, why Elon Musk is saying that he's the media, the people are the media. And he's like, no, this is not true. We are close to these stories. We are close to this swamp. We do all the work. And it's like, yeah, you do all that damn work and then y'all get on air and skew the facts to fit some narrative to make one of your guys look good. You're not objective, you're not truthful, you're not honest. And that's why people are backing away from the mainstream media. And they earned this. I don't understand why they're acting like such victims right now, because this guy is this is, to me, this is a victim card.
Today saying, like, we are the media, you are the media. My message to Elon Musk is bull. You're not the media. You having.
Actually, Elon is kind of right in a way, because I know a lot of people now, they do not look, I don't really look at cable news. Like, I mean, to somebody's point, I make fun, like when I see cable news clips, it's usually some content creator making fun of them, talking about their lies or their deceptions, right? That's the only time I actually see a cable news clip or something. I don't just go out looking for a CNN clip or MSNBC clip. Most of the times when I use those clips in my content, they're actually clips from other content creators who are using these clips to point out the deceptions or the unhingedness of some of these so-called media pundits. Like, I don't really just sit there tuning into those networks like that. Most of the times I'm getting my news from YouTube feeds, or I'm going on X, or I'll look at my homepage on Google. But other than that, I'm not really looking at those people at all. I don't really care about their opinions. I don't even care about the stories that they choose to share, because it's just a big echo chamber. And you can tell how, have you ever seen those montage videos of like the new media pundits saying the same exact lines? Like it's a big echo chamber. So I feel like they've earned this mistrust that this guy is lamenting about.
You are the media. My message to Elon Musk is bull. You're not the media.
He's not the
You having.
media. He looks like a 5-year-old kid just lamenting about something.
You having a blue check mark, a Twitter handle, and 300 words of cleverness doesn't make you a reporter any more than me looking at your head and seeing that you have a brain.
But if all of those things come with pure honesty and objective viewpoint, then it could make them a reporter. I mean, here's the thing. My undergraduate is in communications journalism. So it's like I understand that some people, they go to school to be journalists, but I can tell you 100% the methods of modern journalism is far removed from anything that I studied. I was so turned off by modern journalism that I didn't even want to use that portion of my degree. I cared nothing about the journalism portion of my degree, because I felt like modern journalism was like the opposite of everything that I was taught. So, or what they call journalism these days. So, Morning Joe, they're, applauding this guy for going on this little victimized rant because they created a reality for themselves based off of their actions and their communications to people, their rhetoric, right? You know, they deserve it. This is, everybody's playing a victim.
brain
I
and
wish
tell
somebody would talk about black people playing a victim cards. You better look at them damn liberals.
you have an awesome set of tools makes me a damn neurosurgeon, right? Like what we do, what journalists do, what you did in Mississippi, what Al Jazeera does in the Middle East. You don't proclaim yourself to be a reporter. Like, that's nonsense. Like, being a reporter's hard, really hard. You have to care. You have to do the hard work. You have to get up every single day and say, I want to get to the closest approximation of the truth without any fear, without any.
Well, you don't have to be a reporter to do any of those things, really. If you're a person who is governed by truth, right? You're going to pursue the truth. You don't have to be a reporter to do that. These reporters aren't pursuing the truth. They're making up hoaxes. They're sitting up there making up a bag of garbage and putting some little faces, call them little credible folks. This is a doctor from this university and blah blah blah, and he's out here just spewing a bag of garbage to the public, and because he got some title, right, they need the public to believe the bag of garbage. Sorry, you guys earned all of this.
Without any favoritism. You don't do that by popping off on Twitter. You don't do that by having an opinion.
Actually, you do, because most people, when it comes to people's opinion, it's like it's all about how people are looking at the patterns of things and drawing their conclusions. Most times, some people are lemmings. They're going to just go along to get along. They're just going to just be on the bandwagon of ignorance just because it's virtuous, right? But there's a lot of people that can step back and draw their opinions or their conclusions based off of the good old scientific method. Just looking at how things are playing out, making an assessment, and drawing a conclusion. That's how it works. And most people's conclusion these days is that the media has earned its image among the public as being a bunch of liars and deceivers.
Do it by doing the hard work.
Yeah, come on, slow clap, everybody.
Good morning, Joe Al Sharpton.
First of all, I gotta say, extraordinary content. It needed to be said.
So let me tell you something. These people are just jokes and clowns to me. It's just like a big self-preservation show. But, at the end of the day, you don't go hard calling somebody a fascist like he did. And then turn around, well, we got to start these new beginnings. It's like these people are so damn fake. It's just self-preservation. They know their network is about to be, it's going down the tube. And they know that they got to be on the side of majority of the country who voted for Trump, right? They got to be on that side, right? And now that Elon Musk is definitely dangling, possibly acquiring that network, I'm pretty sure a lot of them are changing their tunes. Just like Whoopi Goldberg, she's like, I'm just going to wait and see what he does. Instead of me just wasting time talking about what he might do, I'm just going to see what he does, because Whoopi understands I need to watch my mouth, because it's a lot of people that I've taught cash-ish about that are about to be in power. And some of them are even dangling the thought of buying the network that I work for. So these people already know that they got to start being a little bit more seasoned with their words, right? Because their little machine is not making enough money off of their lies. So that's why everybody got to get pay cuts. See if that saves us a little bit. And if not, y'all got to go. And we got to get fresh faces in. That means people in the View spewing their feminist, irrational vitriol about this and that, right? Democrats to the core, just Democrat to a fault, to an ignorant fault. They might be out the door. And how many people are really going to miss the View? How many people are really deep down? Well, actually, I will miss the View, right? Because I need old girl from Sky News to have good content, right? I love her segment on lefties losing it. And you just can't lose with content from The View. Like, really, they should just reformat that show and just at least frame it as though they are going to say stupid, irrational, emotional, liberal women things, right? So, and nobody should take them seriously, right? So that we all can still laugh and it becomes a big comedy show and nobody is expected to take anything that any of those women say seriously because it's going to be like a spoof show, right? We're going to use these old ladies, like these ladies from The View, right? And they're just going to talk a bunch of nonsense, right? And then that nonsense, all of us are going to be able to read between the liberal lines. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. You know, you said what's wrong with I don't know who Mr. Sniper is. But if that's like what is it? You said help me, Sniper Omega. I don't know if looking for help in random YouTube chats is the way to go, champ. You might want to start with somebody local, like a local therapist, local something like that. Yeah, make it a comedy show, child of God. That's what I'm saying. If we just frame The View as a comedy show, nobody would be expected to take it seriously. That's all I'm saying. And I know a lot of people don't take it seriously, but I think they do be working hard to make people take them seriously and think that the nonsense that they're spewing, the emotional rhetoric that they're spewing is actually credible. But anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day and I will catch you on the next one. I just wanted to call this to the attention because the liberal media, they are making adjustments. Many of them are in self-preservation mode and they understand that they're going to have to start pivoting the way that they speak and the way that they communicate, not just because of the new administration coming in, but also because of the overwhelming amount of Americans who put this administration in place, right? And, a lot of them are nervous about the control systems of the swamp, maybe. I don't know. But it's interesting, right? Because I just kind of look at things, look at the patterns of things. I make assessments of things based off of what I know, right? And I'm always open to having more information and kind of looking at things in a broader scale. And there's been a couple of YouTubers that have actually broadened my perspective about, Pam Bondi. Now, again, I can just look at somebody from the surface and say they look like somebody that can really do their job well. But the reoccurring reservation with Pam Bondi is that many people who are pro-Trump, they don't really believe that Pam Bondi is as pro-Second Amendment as she may claim. And, I was looking at a conversation between Pam Bondi and Trump, and she was talking about some of these red flag laws. And, I was just looking at body language, and it looks like when he was saying, when he was questioning her or making things stricter, he kind of folded his arms a little bit, and I'm not going to read too much into that, but I think that some people have mindsets about coming in doing things, and obviously with the guidance of like Trump or somebody who, or the overall administration, they are able to make adjustments in what they think. I can imagine that Trump understanding how an overwhelming amount of his base feels about the Second Amendment and even gun, restrictions and laws, that he would pick an AG that will come in and have any mindset to directly usurp those laws or those constitutional rights. But it will remain to be seen. I've seen a lot of people break down why they are not impressed with some of Trump's cabinet picks. And again, I already said that these were fruity picks. They were usual suspects. And we will, see what happens as a result of it. I was looking at this guy named, was it Reese Waters or Withers? And he was kind of trolling Byron Donalds. And it looks like Tim Scott finally got a position, but it looks like the HUD secretary is going to some dude. I have never even seen this dude before. He was an NFL player. I'm like, well, what is Byron Donalds going to do? because he was doing the old Bucky dance for Trump to get black men to be interested in Republican and voting for Donald Trump. I'm like, is Byron? What is Byron gonna do? Right? I don't know what's going on with that, but I don't know who that HUD dude was that Trump appointed. Like, who is this dude? He played in the NFL, and people are calling, kind of questioning Byron, like, does it bother you that he hasn't thought about you, that you're not one of his first top picks, you know? And Byron was like, look, Trump is not trying to do diversity picks here. He's trying to pick the best people for the job. Touche. But you're kind of admitted that perhaps you're not one of the best people for the job because you weren't one of the top picks. But we should see what happens with Byron Donalds. He went hard for Trump, right? Tim Scott just got appointed to something. What did he just get appointed to? I forgot. But he earned his biscuits. All right? He earned his biscuits. And I hear some people don't really like Tim Scott these days. They think he's a rhino. Right? So it's interesting how even within some of these little party positions, right, there's still some, discord. They're all not on the same page. They're all thinking different things. And I already said it before and I'll say it again. I do believe that the Republican Party and even the MAGA movement, they have some plants, they have some ops, they have a lot of control opposition. And it's just going to be hard for anybody to weave through a swamp like that to figure out who you can trust. I feel bad for folks like that. I really do. HUD. Okay, I see you, Fred. I feel bad for folks like that, but we shall see. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you on the next one. You said I slightly leaned to the right, but was relieved when Matt Gaetz withdrew AG. I think that dude had some skeletons in his closet. I've said that before. We cannot enforce our morality or on one another for better or for worse. That is the nature of democracy. You can't superimpose. Absolutely, I agree with that. The left, center, and all need to learn that you cannot try to tell an American how to think or live. Amen. You can't, and that's really, to me, what natural human rights are about. Don't superimpose anything about yourself and your beliefs on other people. Respect the parameters of people's boundaries and their space and their beliefs, and you'll be okay. I'm telling you, people who mind their own business and stay in their lane, they don't be in as much drama as people who want to be all up in other people's business and their own, or barely their own. So, like I said, you guys, I'll do a live stream probably later on today around 7. We're going to be talking a little bit more about these little interesting trafficking things that's going on in the music industry, like more perspective on what some of these children may have gone through under the tutelage of a Sean Diddy Combs or a Jeffrey Epstein. This young lady was very enlightening about how she survived elite trafficking. So I wanted to just digest that a little bit, and maybe enlighten people about what this wicked world, some of these underground things that are happening in this wicked world and how it is devastating people into cycles of trauma. And sometimes, you see these disturbed people, they get on your nerve. You wish they would just get themselves together, and you don't realize that some of these people have been demonized by trauma, and nobody has really helped them to reconcile that trauma. When you've been introduced to all kinds of horrific things, and these things have been normalized to you since you were like 4 or 5 years old, and your parent is delivering you into these types of evils, you don't become anything but a very disturbed human being unless you are able to reconcile that trauma and truly get the help and even the spiritual guidance with the pure forces to help you navigate those things. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. This is a really important, I think, in lieu of this Diddy stuff. We keep talking about Diddy, But we do need to start understanding the reality of the victims, beyond these isolated people who said I went to a party and I was violated. There are people who are being groomed. They're being, raised to actually be agents for these parties, right? They're being raised to be agents to these party, and they're being raised to be, you know, companions to men that are like 30, 40 years older than them. I mean, the girl talking about how she was 7, 8 years old, and being the lady of a 30 something year old man, you know, that shows you how twisted and wicked some of these people who think that wealth is their value, how they think I have enough money and I'm so powerful that I can do this detestable thing and actually get away with it. And so many people are. So next time you see a screwed up person, just say, hey, I'm going to pray for you and whatever demons are hunting you so that you can't be a better person and move on for your life. You know, Even if they don't want to hear it, say it and move on, because it ain't no sense in yelling and going back and forth with some of these people. They are truly disturbed. They are truly disturbed, and they have been disturbed their whole entire life by people who have betrayed them, abused them, and treated them like nothing more than objects. So you said money means nothing. You start to see even these people with money, they're screwed up people. The money didn't do anything to make them a better person at all. Matter of fact, it actually brought out the worst in many of these people. Money actually brings out the worst in people to many degrees if you don't have the right attitude towards money. I think a lot of people, they operate with a scarcity mindset of money, and so it makes them do reckless things. It makes them be sloppy and stupid, right? But if you have a good attitude towards money, right, you're not operating with a scarcity mindset. You can be more calculated, and therefore you don't, run into these reckless things, for money. But like I said, you guys, have a wonderful, wonderful day. We'll pray for the liberal media people who are coming to their grand epiphanies, that they definitely have to watch their mouths, because not only is the Trump administration coming back in town, but you also got dudes like Elon that got enough money to buy them into just complete silence. Right? We can regroup your whole thing with whoever we want to be talking about. Hopefully, if anybody's acquiring major networks, they do a talent shift that is needed. But hopefully they can bring in like some more objective voices. Like, I'd like to see, you know, more middle of the road voices on there, helping people to see. I think the more unbiased your media pundits can be with zero loyalty to either of those political parties, I think the better off the news will truly be. You can't have good, objective, pragmatic news when it's riddled with passionate ignorance and bias. That's just my take. But, anyways, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.